What a back and forth game, y'all. I mean, 100 Thieves Challengers having to claw their way back in the mid game after Evil Geniuses seemingly opened with a pretty smooth sailing early game from the looks of it. At least what I was being able to see while I was trying to prep this halftime show segment. And then there was a spicy moment near the late game where EG were ready to claim the Elder Dragon off the back of a Baron fight. I mean, man, this is probably one of the most closest games we've had all day. I
don't know. Did you not see the game that happened right before it?
Well, okay. The Dignitas wildcard game still lives.
It's the second closest.
Okay, it's the second closest. I just making sure that we're kind of aligned here. But we've got our halftime show segment before we get into our last game of the day between Evil Geniuses Challengers and 100 Thieves Challengers. And it's something that we came up with on the spot. So if you don't like it,
too bad.
Too bad. We just...
Okay.
We're going to call it Run That Stat. So myself and producer Jay have put together some trivia questions where we're going to be making some questions related to players, either about their season so far in 2023 or this game based on some stats that we have. So let's run the first one, see what we have for y'all.
Very easy.
Yeah. So this player played 8 unique champions this season, 9 solo kills, and a personal best KDA of 11, 0, and 7.
Are we limited to players in the game for all these questions?
Only the series. Only the series.
Okay, Buzz.
What you got?
I'm gonna go for the obvious one, Sniper.
Not Sniper.
No. This has to be Shaden, right?
Correct. It is Shaden. It is Shaden. Now,
the
bonus
KDA,
question,
man.
Joss, and you can double or nothing on this one. What champion did they get?
Diego.
Diego,
Yeah.
I'm so mad at myself. I put a tweet out about Shaden and all the games where he had double-digit kills, and I got it wrong.
Skill issue, I fear. Unlucky, brother Deserux. It's okay. It's
Shaden
okay.
and the sous chefs.
Yeah, well, Shaden and the sous chefs. That's right. During the era where Shaden was running amok with carry junglers, and it was like back-to-back games of like 10 plus KDA. Just
yeah, 5 in a row, I think, or at least five out of 6. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's run our second trivia question here. I believe this one's a little bit more of an interesting tangle. Who currently, before this game, current damage share of 28.1%, 6 unique champions.
Buzz.
Average CS. Okay, what do you got, Josh?
I'm pretty confident that one's going to be Unforgiven.
It is not Unforgiven. It is not Unforgiven.
Okay.
Yes, Rex. You have the floor, sir.
Best DPM. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna continue throwing this until it works. Let's go Sniper.
There's no shot.
It is not Sniper. It is not Sniper.
All right.
I'm gonna let you dwell on it.
My next guess
Yeah.
is Ryoma.
It is not.
It's not Ryoma.
And with that, we're at 3 guesses. Let's reveal the first answer. It is actually Pretty from 100 Thieves Challengers. Now, but you do have a chance for a bonus question here.
Okay.
What champion did he earn his personal best DPM of the season with?
You see, like, if we were last season, I'd be saying Talia all day. That was, like, one of his big ones. So I'm going to say General Sniper. Nah,
General Sniper, answer
you
every
know what?
question.
Let's just throw Talia for the meme. Let's just go with it.
It is not Talia, brother.
Let's guess. Let's go with Victor.
It is not Victor.
Damn. It must be Azir.
No, it's not Azir. It is Syndra, y'all. It is the unleashed power maiden herself. Balls everywhere. It's going crazy. Yeah.
That's actually a ton of damage with Syndra. Like, that is kind of nutty for how much damage you're doing with Syndra.
And it was one of his big games too. I grabbed it from his series against Golden Guardians Challengers. So
there you go.
Big damage stats here from Pretty, which goes to show that even though we've kind of highlighted Pretty as this player that is supposed to be facilitating some of the young guns and Yukino and Sniper and even Unforgiven as their main carry, it goes to show that on his best days, Pretty can also be a pretty damn good carry himself as well. He's still got what it takes. But
all right, what else you got? Give us some more brain busters.
Numero tres question. Let's see what we have. Unforgiven's KDA was 9-1-5 by the end of this game. What was his KDA at 20 minutes?
This, you said this game, right?
Yep, this is this game.
1-1-1.
I feel like it's something along those lines.
It was low. There was not a lot that happened in the first 20
low.
minutes.
I'm gonna say. Hold on. Let me think. I'm gonna say 0-0-1.
No. The answer, you were close, Desirux. You were the closest. It was 0-0-0.
Dang.
Nada. This man was involved in nothing. No kills, no deaths, no assists. So when did he get his first kill of the game, y'all?
20 minutes. No, I'm not. This is a joke. 23.
I thought you were about
23.
to say Sniper.
23.
25. Let me go 25.
25? What do you got,
I
Desirux?
said 23.
23. The closest one is Josh, because the answer timestamp was 24 minutes and 48 seconds.
Ooh,
Yes,
that's
sir,
really
Rex.
close.
My brother, you are in shambles.
I am.
General Sniper.
General Sniper.
General Sniper. All right,
This is a really mean game to play with us at the very end of the day.
I'm just trying to
Messed
test
up,
your
Mark.
knowledge, see how
Messed up,
much
buddy.
you guys were paying attention to your own game that you were casting. But the funny thing about I think the funny thing about that stat line is that Unforgiven kept himself safe during the early kind of early game plan from Evil Genius's Challengers. But most of the plan was centered around the mid lane. Ryoma was, kind of ahead, which does lead us into our last question, if we have it ready to go. If we don't have it ready for the graphics, that's fine. I can just tell y'all. Who went deathless?
General Sniper.
For... No.
Is one of these not Sniper? Damn it.
I couldn't get a question about every single one of these 10 players, Desiree.
That's because you're not trying hard enough, Mark.
It's a 10% chance. I'm sorry. Who went deathless for 36 minutes into the game?
Ryoma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What was his KDA before that death?
Oh. Okay. I specifically called out at one point that he was 5-0-2. So I'm going to go with that. That's the last one I remember.
You know what?
It is not 5-0-2.
It's 4-0-2.
It's
Were you
Sniper,
listening?
that's the answer. His KDA before that death was 7-0-4 on the Azir.
Yeah. There you go. I can't believe you guessed a lower numbers than what the one I said. I just
Eric, what's
said
happening, man?
your
What's
floor.
happening?
It is no
Has it been a
worse
long
than
day?
5-0-2.
Come here. I need some stress for that. I'm gonna play my cat now. I'm done with this, man. You guys are just being mean to me.
I'm not trying to be mean, brother. I'm trying to keep your mind sharp. And with that, I hope you are ready for our last game of the day, because the draft is ready for the toss. So, Deathstrix, Joshi, and Caesar, take it away.
All right,
Caesar,
it right
let's
here.
go.
Toss it right here. Okay. Oh, God. Watch that arm, man. All right, game number 2. I'm trying to wake myself back up, Josh. This is my technique of getting myself back in line. Game number 2.
Okay.
The questions to throw out, Josh. Evil geniuses, what do they do different to get better result?
Don't play beta for Ryoma. right? Like, we need Alpha Shaden. We don't need Beta Shaden to be coming through. We need some Chad energy coming out. That's how you won 5 games in a row. That's how you were doing so well, right? Like,
Chad
you
Energy, we
already...
get him on the Rengar.
Did he play Rengar this year?
Chad has played Rengar.
Oh, not Chad. Okay,
Yeah,
that Chad. I thought you were talking about Shaden. I was like, Shaden has not played Rengar this year that I know of. But, like, you already have solos playing a lot of tanks, right? And it's something that, you know, Alex has been like, yeah, you know, there's going to be people that you're going to generally, like, kind of put behind and say, like, hey, you're going to play the utility characters this game. Normally, it's Soul. You already got that. Smoothie's going to be playing Enchanters, right? Like, we already know that one. Mobility... it's going to be like taking a back seat, right? You need at least 2 carriers in every team, and that is Ryoma and Shaden. And right now, you're currently only playing with one of them.
And, I mean, Ryoma looked good. Okay, sure. 7-1-4 defeat at the end of the day, right? That's the most rough part about that. Sure, he looked good, but we still need more alongside Ryoma for Evil Geniuses to start to flourish out. A lot of bans going over towards the marksman pool. Evil Geniuses is going to ban on that. Or the opposite side, they are going to take away that Scion from before that Soul was playing. Still on the first pick with the Maokai.
Yeah. I believe that I think if 100 Thieves Challengers win this game, they actually like kind of tie back up with a lot of the top teams, right? I think they were 1 game behind Wildcard at the beginning of the day. So if they were able to pick this one up and get 2 wins compared to Wildcard's only 1, that'll put them right up there in some of the top 4. On the other side of the map, we do see a little bit of a pivot, right? It was mobility on the Zeri last game, now going over towards the Xayah, mostly I think partly to kind of deny a little bit of destiny on the Rakan, who had a fantastic game on it last time around.
Looked pretty good on the Rakan, but also just Unforgiven on the Xayah, was able to shred on the front line that EGC had, and still going to be on a very powerful champion with the Zeri. I've talked about the Pentakill a little bit too much now, but it's just a lot of strength for 100. There's a lot of comfort at that, and now the question just comes back to the solo lanes as we do finish the first part of the draft.
Yeah, and I mean, both teams look very similar to what we saw in the game 1, but now we're putting a little bit more pressure onto Smoothie to be a bit more of an engaged tool, whereas on the other side, it is still very focused on Yukino. But on any other team, I would say that for sure, this Sejuani is going to be going to Shaden. But because it is specifically Evil Geniuses Challengers, we have seen Soul actually play the Sejuani a couple of times. And I'm trying to remember how Soul said that those conversations would go. It's like, hey, we'll pick Sejuani, it's a flex. And then it gets to, like, you know, when you have to decide which one of them is going to play it. She goes, nah, man, I'm not playing that.
It wasn't a flex all along. It's just
Is there a flex? And look at that. It's a Wukong ban from 100 Thieves Challengers. They don't believe it either.
Okay, so that'll get taken away. All right, you know what? You're helping the cause, 100 Thieves. Take away Wukong. Take away the Poppy as well. Force Shaden onto a carry so I can have my way, damn it. All right. Soul Engager. One more ban. Let's see what it is. What is it going to be? Jax? Okay.
Jax. Okay. Hedging their bets a little bit, right? Taking a couple of these big power picks down, and no surprise, Ryoma going back over to some melee, something that he can be a little bit more aggressive with. I really want to know why everybody on 100 Thieves is, like, hovering this Tom Kench, right? Because I think Yukino did it, Pretty's done it, Unforgiven's doing it now, Destiny has done it a lot. Like, what is going on in the 100 Thieves campus? There's something about this frog that we just, like, don't know about?
That's definitely a question for Mark. Rafa, if 100 Thieves win this, you know what to do during the
interview. Ask about the frog. See?
Just keep throwing it up. What I do see is Pretty is on one of those signature champions from last split that we were talking about during the halftime, and that is going to be the Talia. He looked so good on it last year whenever he was able to get it. It kind of was a big highlight of Immortals back when he was on that roster.
Yeah. As we do see the last couple of picks come through, right? The Talia, as you called out, is just one of his standard things we already know he's good at. It's kind of one of those things that we said in Game 1. I want to see a little bit more coming out from Pretty in terms of things that we don't know he's good at. Or like this burst of dominance, right? We saw a couple of games from that when he was still on Immortal last year. But this year, you know, he's mostly just kind of... he's doing good things on a lot of these mages, but we need to see that next level of growth for us to really give him that nod again and start saying, like, yeah, let's see what his opportunities are like in LCS. There's no way this gets locked in, and instead, okay, yeah, this is something that I've always been surprised about. The fact that teams are so scared to just pick, like, these tanks into Jace is kind of criminal, right? Jace should never be blindable, right? There's no world in which you should be able to blind Jace, because Jace just gets absolutely dookied on by Malphite. He gets dookied on by Scion. He gets dookied on by Sejuani a lot of the time. Like, it's so hard to play these Jace into the tanks because it's impossible to push them out, and unless you have a ton of control with the support of your jungler, you're just gonna like slowly fall behind until you hit the 3 items. So Evil Geniuses, they have a ton of engage tools, but my problem with this roster or this composition does no damage.
Yeah, and that's a question I was about to bring up. Is this really the draft to go for EGC? Because it doesn't play to what we were asking, which was Shayden to be on some level of carry. Mobility still on the Xayah. That's great. You know, you got a lot of scaling to really go through there. But I feel like it's only one punch to come out of Evil Geniuses with nothing to really back you up.
Yeah, I mean, it's really going to depend on how Ryoma kind of plays the Silas. If he goes for a heavier damage build, or if he goes for like the Rod of Ages and plays to scale a little bit more, because you have, as you said, you have the one punch, and if you're not Saitama, that's usually not going to be enough. And now, trying to find Soul a little bit, see if they can sneak up on him. Oh, does spot him.
Like, oh, just saw a glimpse of that. That's all I need to get out of here. I want none of the early game shenanigans. Don't want to get first blooded.
Yeah. So, one of the things that oftentimes happens, right, and I don't know if I've seen Soul play this Malphite. Like, this is a very good matchup for the Malphite, right? But so much of it comes after your first back, right? You know, when you only have the Doran's Ring, you're just running out of mana super often. So you really want to get, like, the Warden's Mail or, like, the Glacial Shroud, you know, that little bit of extra mana, that armor, and then you have a larger mana pool and can really start throwing Qs on cooldown. And the one thing that you do want to make sure you do is like sync up your Qs so that they are also hitting with the Arcane Comet, right? It's okay to wait a couple seconds to throw that out at the same time. And so it is true that, oh no, this is
okay.
Yeah, this is really bad for Soul.
Yeah, gonna get caught out in the try while trying to go back up to the top of the lane. And yeah, that was a good burst of damage to come out of Sniper. Was able to get both transforms in on the combo.
And I was just about to say that Jace can absolutely bully the first couple levels against most of these tanks. But like once the first back or even like level 3 starts to come through, it becomes so much more difficult for Jace to bully them around. And Shayden, interestingly enough, still chilling out on the top side of the map. Looks to be doing red Krugs and then, or excuse me, Raptors Krugs and then red. And will have an opportunity to try and go for this top lane gank, but he will have to do it by going over the river because Evil Geniuses are already warded out in the Tri-Brush.
Yeah, that ward was placed there rather early, especially during that trade that General Sniper did too. So I want to see where Shayden does decide to posture towards. They should expect that ward to be there. Yep. Shayden's still going to go into that direction. I'm not sure if he was spotted by that ward. There's no pings on the map right now, so I think he got through.
Yeah, and where does he go, right? Shayden went for an invade last time around, and this time we're going to be going for the invade.
Or a gank in the mid lane. Shayden seems to be preying on Pretty right now, and Pretty is extending quite a bit.
Yeah, and Pretty has no vision, right? Thinks that they're safe. Well, this is a really good amount of patience coming through from Shayden, but it needs to work, right? Remember what was happening with Keel and XU last game?
Oh, so close. And now going to spot it out. Here comes Shayden. Knockup comes in. Crowd control going to be found. There's the stun and first blood. Shayden will not fall in the mid lane this time around.
And there you go. That's a big kill coming out for Ryoma early on in the game. It will give them so much more control and really accelerate this Silas to start doing damage early on. This is, if you're going to try and do like crazy ganks for your mid laner, this is absolutely the way to do it. You need to be so focused on making sure that you come in from angles that they're not expecting.
And Shayden's so creative with that route you were talking about. It was the Raptors to the Golems to the red, snuck by that try, and set it up into the mid lane, just out of vision of Pretty. Really, that was really good smart play to come out, and we'll get them the first blood this time without slipping up like they did in game 1.
Yeah. So, I mean, a small lead going over to Evil Geniuses. These are the games that Shayden tends to be really strong on, and he does get spotted out this time, so Pretty should know exactly where this Sejuani is, but with no flash, it's so much harder for Pretty to navigate.
And Yukino's not far off, but look at Soul on the top side! Sniper puts the hammer down and will break the rock.
And there you go. I mean, Sniper just understanding how to play this matchup better than Soul. Finds the solo kill, is going to really deny Soul so much gold and experience as another minion will go down. Sniper will be able to back away. I mean, this is when Soul's supposed to start coming online. But he's already gotten that solo kill over to Sniper, and this is just a damage check that Soul was not ready for.
Take a look at this again. I don't think he didn't think Sniper was over there. Thought he caught him on the recall, and Sniper catches him with his pants right down for the solo kill.
Yeah, and one of the big things to start with there is because he started off with the, like he had gone through the transform, so his first auto also had the armor and MR shred when he's in ranged form. It is so much easier. I think that's probably what caught Soul off guard. Was not expecting the extra burst of damage from the Thundering Blow. And now Yukino going to be hanging out, sees that they are doing the dragon, says, I have better things to do, and those things are going to be wolves. So it is going to be Evil Geniuses picking up the first dragon of the game, and you know, still having a bit of a better start, but it does create a problem when Jace never really falls behind up against these tanks. When Jace just is strong the entire game, it's really difficult for Evil Geniuses to try and do things because of the number of like squishy members that they have on the team.
I don't think it's all doom and gloom for Soul into that top side. You have a champion kit. That's going to be the big thing you rely on now instead of trying to best Sniper in this lane, because Sniper, once you get his lead, it's very hard to stop Sniper from snowballing ahead. So
yeah,
once a little bit of catch-up is found by Soul, and once we get to that team fight phase, he'll still prove his worth there.
And it is worth noting, right, that I do love seeing a lot of these tanks being played into the Jace because it makes the Jace that much harder to play. But you actually need to know how to play it, right? I remember last year, I think it was Bradley was the first person to bring the Malphite out into the Jace, and got clapped because he just didn't know how to play the character. It's not as though you can just play Malphite for the first time on stage into this matchup, because people have been playing a lot of Jace. They played it against a lot of Malphites in solo queue. If you don't know your limits as these relatively simple characters, it's really tough. It's why we've been so impressed with players like Jenkins bringing out the Warwick, who has one real ability, right? And he uses it so well because he's been really grinding the champion in solo queue.
I mean, when you don't know these champions, other side does actually got to hold that Destiny, getting engaged on. Okay, will be able to back off. Unforgiven returns fire, but going neutral in the lane, Yukino wants to change that. Sapling over. Not set up for the dive, but skirmish coming out. Yeah, as I was saying, with some of these champions that you do get going through, like, it means so much to be able to mid-max, or lack of a better word. Actually, that might be the right word to use here, as, you know, your kit doesn't do much, so you have to be effective with every single utilization of it.
Yeah. Soul, I mean, right now he's doing not great, right? It's definitely a spot where he doesn't have the full Warden's Mail, was forced to recall early due to dying. And now, I mean, we're waiting for Shane to actually get level 6. Should probably get it off this Scuttlecraft, and that might be their opportunity to try and find a gank up in the top lane, because Sniper is pushing out. But he does have a ward in the river as well.
Jaden heading in that direction quite fast. Oh, beautiful timing on that flash for General Sniper.
Yeah, that looked like last possible frame for Sniper to actually flash out, and I love the fact that as soon as the ultimate comes out, he knows there is no way Soul is doing this all on his own. There has to be somebody here going to be respecting that, going to be backing away, and you also see as Shaden clears the ward, is now starting up the Rift Herald, and it looks like we're going to get a potential 3v3.
I mean, here's what's nice for Evil Geniuses. Look at Ryoma. Look what ultimate he took away. It gives a lot of control over towards this river area. Big issue is going to be how much damage can they bring. They'll look to drop that onto Sniper and take him down as the primary focus. But here comes Pretty. Seismic Shove goes out. Yukino, however, is not going to do too well in this skirmish. Forced to flash away. Slither of health remains. Ryoma will chase him down and grab kill for the killing spree.
That's a killing spree on Ryoma. All 3 of Evil Genius's kills going in towards this mid lane. This is so much better than what we saw on the Azir last game, right? Just so much more early power. This is the killer instinct we were looking to see from Evil Geniuses in the first game. And here, they look and they see, we don't care about hitting this Maokai. He doesn't do any damage. We gotta kill the damage dealer first. And Pretty, by the time he gets here, right, it's still early game Talia. There's no Leandries, there's no Loons in order to pump up the damage. It's just a lot of base damage, and there's not a whole lot left for 100 Thieves to do by the time he shows up.
couldn't really fight that out. And, you know, Ryoma, as I said, did take that ultimate, and it works oh so well to kind of set up a lot of these fights around the neutral objectives, especially the Rift Herald. Ryoma, beautiful positioning and beautiful targeting from the rest of the Geniuses to win out that fight will give them an early lead. But one thing I did notice was on the back end of that, Shayden didn't want to take the Rift Herald. He's now returning to it, and so is Yukino.
Yeah, I mean, wants to make sure you can spend all of that gold. Ryoma probably is like, hey, let me go get my Rod of Ages, start stacking this one up. And here we go. Soul's ultimate coming up pretty soon.
Shayden walks up. It's my turn with the Rift Herald now, Yukino.
Yeah, and look at this. Everybody on both sides coming towards the top half of the map. This is potentially a full-on 5v5. Don't know when it happened, but Mobility did spend the ultimate on the bottom side of the map.
100 Thieves have priority from Sniper in this top side, but it's not coming fast enough to protect Yukino. A quick flash from Smoothie, not even a flash, just dives right on in and catches out Yukino. That's a pick found by the Geniuses.
And a Rift Herald picked up as well. We'll see how much they have to pay for it on the bottom side of the map. You're going to be losing a couple of plates here because of how much they are committing towards this side. They also are losing positioning on the Dragon as well. So a big commitment. They are going to be teleporting Soul into the other side. And I wonder if there's going to be a dive that falls out of this on towards Sniper's Jace just because of the number of people that are still here.
They're setting up for it right now. Smoothie on the position, waiting for the knockup to come through. Gonna find it. Here comes Ryoma, rooting on to Sniper. Sniper getting caught out with 3 members of Evil Geniuses on all around him in a rampage now for Ryoma.
Yeah, and even though it has nothing to do with the fact that it's the Malphite, right? This is one of the dangers of Jace. When you lose your flash and you start falling behind, you become such an easy target for people to kill. And look how much money they're going to be giving over to Mobility. He gets the solo plate, gets 2 more plates with sharing only one of them with Shayden and Sejuani, and now starting to threaten to pick up this early turret, right? That's a ton of money going over to Mobility, who was starting to fall behind fairly far to Unforgiven.
With so much money on Mobility, now being acquired towards Mobility, and a lot already established by Ryoma, this is a good early game. That lack of damage is being accounted for by just getting Ryoma playing it forward ahead.
Uh-oh. Shayden, go kill the crab.
Go kill Crab, Shayden. Crab is good.
Right, bro. It had 10 HP. I don't think he realized it didn't die.
It didn't. Oh.
Sag.
Do you think you get a notice back from your coach after that? Do you think they just clip this specific moment?
I mean, I went to go visit one of the team's scrims recently, and it's one of those, like, at least the way Juice was doing is like, hey, I don't need to talk to you about this, right? And they're like, yeah. We know, everybody knows what was going wrong. It doesn't do any good to just be like, all right, you know, we need to VOD review this part. So
VOD review your Scuttle Crab taking, Shayden.
Yeah. Hey, how much damage does the little foxy guy do at level 8?
Does 9, not 10.
Come on,
do your push-ups.
Dude, if I ever had a coach or like somebody who is like that pedantic about everything, like jeez, like, that would be a rough.
Full-on whiplash.
Yeah. Are you out of tune? Are you dragging or pushing?
Chucks the keyboard at you.
That would be one way to coach a team. So, well, if anybody's confused, there's a great film called Whiplash. It's about a jazz musician, jazz drummer.
And it
very good.
Jazz into almost sports way. How aggressive it gets.
Kinda. I remember one of my other friends who was a musician was like, yeah, after watching that movie, I realized how bad my conductor was. I'm like, oh, geez, is this really that common? I've only had great conductors in like any of the bands that I've played in.
I've heard it isn't the most common thing. A lot of jazz musicians kind of freak out when they see Whiplash. Yeah. But speaking of Whiplash, might get some soon with how many members of Evil Geniuses are kind of crowding around the mid lane looking to pick them off.
And remember, 4 of this team's kills are on Ryoma, as he should be able to walk away from this as soon as he gets into the minions. He does, but there's not a whole lot. Sniper! Ooh, this is actually a really close situation here, right? Soul might be able to actually fight him, but when you're not confident in that, if you don't know your champion, you're not necessarily going to risk the all-in against somebody who is very, very willing to take all kinds of fights.
Sniper, a very confident player. 100 Thieves looking over for a play on the bottom side, but not going to grab it. And yeah, confidence kind of just reeks from Sniper, man. Every interview you see of this kid, he feels very confident both in his play and his next step of improvement, where he needs to work on, where he needs to dial down and focus. There's a big reason so many people are excited about this kid, General Sniper. Even all the way down to the teams, it kind of feels almost like in the same way. This is going to be like slightly hyperbolic, but like LeBron James when he was in the NBA caught out is going to be Ryoma looking to get the collapse in. Sniper is there for it. Oh, living a little bit longer, but not long enough. Finally, the kill being picked up. Ryoma goes down, and the rest of 100 Thieves will tear apart Soul very slowly. It's a Rocky Boy after all, brings a lot of tanking. This doesn't matter. 100 Thieves got it.
Damn, that is a huge blow going out, right? Ryoma going down, Sniper teleporting up towards the top side as Soul flashes for it as well. This is so much money. We have to see who actually picked up the shutdown here because, again, 4 kills getting picked up by Ryoma means that's a ton of money to whoever actually gets it. And looks like it's pretty. That 700 gold getting picked up there. Sniper kept alive by Destiny, and right, this is one of the problems with this composition that we were saying. They just don't have a whole lot of damage, and they were relying on Ryoma being strong to kind of make up for that. But when he's the first one to die, there's nothing to make up for it.
Just like that. Team fight going to go through. Ball's over. Getting that big shutdown from Ryoma. And that bodes incredibly well for Pretty, who, again, this is a very confident champion for him. He needs to scale up and get that damage going. Mythic now completed, still working with that tier and stopwatch, but a boost of gold for the mid laner of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be really helpful, especially as we start turning our attention towards the upcoming dragons, right? The Mountain Dragon is probably the single most valuable dragon on the game. Even if the Soul itself is kind of whatever, it is definitely a spot where if you start stacking up these dragons and just getting the extra percentage tankiness that you get off of the bonus armor and MR, like, it is super, super difficult for Evil Geniuses to ever do the damage necessary to actually kill people. And so, I feel like 100 Thieves, if I'm them, I definitely start calling to start taking control of this side of the dragon, of this side of the map, start getting the vision down so you can really prevent anybody from Evil Geniuses from coming in. You can't prevent the engage, but you can know where it's coming from and allow Jace, Talia, and Zeri to stand far enough back that they don't get hit by it.
Josh, it does seem like that's on the mind of 100 Thieves. They do have Yukino into that direction. Pinching over on the bottom lane is Pretty. They will set up and get easy priority over towards the river where the Drake is because Shaden, his attention is set onto this Rift Herald at the moment, so conceding will be the Geniuses.
Yeah. And I love the fact that Unforgiven, right? It's not even a full item, but he backs, 42 seconds before the dragon spawns in order to buy a pickaxe. 25 AD, right? It doesn't sound like a lot, but making sure that you're always fighting with as much gold as you can in your inventory is something that some of the best players do rather consistently. Make sure you pick that one up, Shaden. So here, we're going to see Sniper. He's actually going to be a little bit late if he completes the back. Chooses to stick around, and that's going to be another turret going down, and Evil Geniuses are not around to contest.
It's another turret going over to Pretty, so more income to the mid laner of 100 Thieves. And it's all coming quite fast at the same time where the dragon is spawning up. 100 Thieves, early to set up into this direction. Geniuses might look for a contest right here. I mean, again, they do have some very, very solid frontline engage to be snappy with 100 Thieves, but they don't feel confident enough to really go for it. They will not take the team fight. Instead, allow 100 Thieves to take this away, not pushing for that dragon stacking win condition.
Yeah, at least Ryoma does get a couple of kills effectively on the side of the map by picking up this turret. But, he's like the only one strong on the map for his team. He's got so much of his team's own gold.
Oh.
And now, teleporting for Pretty.
All this gold you've put on
The
Pretty.
rocks.
Oh, this could be bad right now. Pretty trying to find an escape route, but not gonna get it. Cashing in Ryoma was just investment banking, and we'll take down Pretty.
All right, Prodromos. I respect the idea. Fortunately, you can't go outside of the map. As every good wargamer knows, the edge of the board is the edge of the world. You can't go there. So, oops.
But the pop out our screen, ride that wall all the way through Santa Monica.
Yeah, it's always funny to me. Every game, right, where the edge of the board or like the edge of the map is just like, you cannot go there, right? Even if it's like, oh, but you would normally be able to come over the wall. Like, this is where all of my units would come from. Can't do it. Sorry.
Kind of
like on A-ramps.
It's a really old thing as well. I remember like season 1 memes was an old YouTuber who would post his Ashe gameplay, and he'd always miss his arrow. Started calling it the arrow to Santa Monica. That's what I think of every time I see some of these ultimates just going off the map.
Yeah, if you ever get hit in one of your games, you never saw the Ashe fire the arrow, it's because it wasn't the Ashe in your game, it was the Ashe in a different game, you know. But anyway, as we reconvene onto this game, Evil Geniuses, they are ahead across the map, but we are going to have to pay attention to the fact that they are going to scale in a way that's really weird, right? They will need to find some way to get enough burst of damage to actually take down some of these squishier members, and then have enough in the tank left over. As
oh no! Mobility caught on the respawn and timed out pretty. Ooh. Beautiful with that seismic shove. Waits for one recall to go through, but that is down both sums for Mobility at such a pivotal time.
And his ultimate will be down when the next dragon actually spawns for summoners. And I wonder if that's going to be enough for 100 Thieves to start thinking about this upcoming Baron. Is ooh, look, Puckled coming through. Oh.
Hello there.
Well, got a pause going on.
Yeah, we got a pause going on. All right. So allow me to get a little bit more comfortable in
Mark,
position.
I just want to say, you looked very young there, for whatever reason. Just like the expression you had on your face. You look like a child. But anyway.
For those of you who don't know, we can still see him.
We can still see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's just like when watching an anime, you just got like the you know, you wake up for Saturday morning cartoons and you could just get like the bright eyes, like, oh my god, these guys are so cool. We are getting word that one of the players has paused, and it sounds like they are having some issues on the back end, and we will update you as the information becomes available. But right now, again, this is a game where, just like the game before, where it was entirely on Ryoma to try and find some of these cool plays, and we saw one of them come out near the Baron that actually won them a fight. They need to find even more than that, right? It's going to be an opportunity for Ryoma to pop off, and he needs to probably trade out 2, sometimes even 3 people in these fights to make it worth it, just because if his team doesn't have the damage to kill on their own, they're just going to get kited out by the insane movement speed of Talia and the Zeri.
Right now, Evil Geniuses have 6 kills total. 5 of those are on Ryoma, 1 of those are on the support with Smoothie. So yeah, that puts a lot of stress on Ryoma to find these big picks and make all that economy be worthwhile. I mean, for the most part, Evil Geniuses are trying to get some of that onto Mobility, as you saw with some of the turrets they were taking. It's just not enough at the very, very moment. You still need a little bit more scaling on this Xayah before we get to critical mass.
Yeah. We'll see, right? I mean, Mobility is one of these players that has been trying to find their kind of their footing into these games as well. And oh, there you go. Let's go, Shaden.
Yeah, Shaden onto Pretty. Pretty will have to flash over that wall, and pretty big pickup coming out for Shaden to get that flash out of Pretty.
Just as we were talking about with Mobility, is here comes Sniper. Bam, bam, bam.
Sniper classic, just harassing other top laners. See hero, kill hero, still chasing down onto Pretty. That's a lot of damage on it. Forces the unstoppable force out of Soul.
Yeah, that's big, right? This is definitely the spot where Jace is not supposed to be able to do that yet in the game. But because he got that solo kill, because he's up 60 CS up against Soul's Malphite, he's just so much farther ahead of Soul than he's supposed to be at this point of the game. So when you can start doing that and forcing the unstoppable force out from your opponents, then it becomes that much more difficult for Soul to really participate. Malphite without ultimate, kind of like, even more so than like Swain without ultimate, not really a character.
Yeah, and as we talked about it, the laning phase didn't go that well for Soul, so he needs his ultimate, man. He needs his kit to be in the game for Evil Geniuses. Now here comes the charge out of the Rift Herald. A little bit unfortunate that there was just a slither of health, so not going to get the most value out of this Rift Herald, but still a tower taken in the mid lane, still going to open up some pretty good vision for the Geniuses to play around. Yeah.
So that will allow them to start living in Yukina's jungle a little bit more while they are still ahead for a little while, but Pretty. Oh.
Whoa. Okay, 1v1. No super heavyweight smackdown. We're just going to walk away.
Yeah. I mean, just look at the level difference and the item difference between these two guys, right? Ryoma almost done with his Rabadons as well. Like, he's doing a ton of damage if he can survive. It would not be the first time. It would not be the first time. Best trade deal of all trade deals. We got another dragon coming up here very shortly. Unforgiven is on 2 items, as is Mobility. As we start looking around this next dragon, remember, it is now Evil Geniuses who are controlling all of the vision around here. Yukina will have to use those saplings to check bush after bush after bush in order for them to kind of walk back in.
So again, keep your eyes on Ryoma. He's all the economy of Evil Geniuses. He will be a big part of EG during this fight, as he does teleport in. He'll show up. Dragon spawns within 10 seconds. 100 Thieves setting up behind the Dragon Pig.
Yeah. And Smoothie is here on the side, right? Looking for a potential flank angle. Get that flank angle going. Is Pretty going to be trying to cut them off with his Weaver's Wall.
Now Ryoma's right there. Has the ultimate of the Maokai. We need to drop that in and cut off the rest of 100 Thieves. And that's enough of a threat right there. Just taking that ultimate was enough of a threat.
Yeah. Makes sense, as they are going to be trying to defend this turret. 100 Thieves not going to be getting a whole lot off of their pivot. So Evil Geniuses will be getting themselves one dragon away from the Mountain Soul, but it's not the most worrying thing in the world if you are 100 Thieves, right? They just have so much scaling. They have so much damage later on in the game. That it feels like they can just kind of wait around for a little while. They cannot wait for forever, right? Because eventually Soul will become strong again, just on the fact that he will kind of catch up in terms of items, he will catch up in terms of levels, and Evil Geniuses, they really need to fight around this next dragon, whereas 100 Thieves are saying, we're going to be on 3 items on all of our major carries at that point. That's going to be A-okay for us to just take this big fight at that point.
Soul playing a bit of catch-up, but will have his milk, get his calcium, become a big, strong boy for the Evil Geniuses front line to really fight out with. The objective is going to start to be focusing around both the Baron and the Dragon as we get closer for that timer, but Baron right now is at least in the thoughts of 100 Thieves, as they'll be placing their deep vision to this area.
Yeah.
And what else?
And prayers.
Yeah.
So thoughts.
Yeah.
Gotta get both. If you just get one, it doesn't work.
I love you, Josh. you always get me at least, I don't know, like twice a cast.
It's my goal. It's my goal.
Or
just to force you to see if you're listening. But now Evil Geniuses, they're going to be moving around as well, like you're calling. They were definitely thinking a lot more about this upcoming Baron, right? They have the damage to potentially do it. But the one thing that they do have to be very careful of is how their side lanes are going to be operating. Ryoma should be able to win the side lanes, but Soul is 100% not in a position where they can do much. And so, you know, we were kind of expecting the flashes being down from ability and Pretty to be a bigger issue, but neither side was really able to press it at all because neither side has been looking for engages.
It's a lot of hesitation and a lot of setup into the other side sets up, into the other side sets up, into the other side sets up, and it's been a little bit handshaky to that regard. No one willing to full commit to a 5v5, even with this very, very strong vision line being set by Evil Geniuses to get a little bit deeper into there for 100 Thieves. It's still not doing that much.
And as long as Evil Geniuses aren't threatening to hit the Baron, like 100 Thieves does not have to come fight them, right? Like that was why Evil Geniuses was hitting the Baron over and over in game 1, is because they needed to do it in order to get their opponents to fight them. Right now, because they're not hitting, like 100 Thieves have way more freedom to just kind of sit around, wait, give Unforgiven a little bit more money. And as we said, right, once you start getting these characters onto 3 items, that's when it becomes really, really rough for the members of Evil Geniuses to actually go for a fight, because the only player who is likely to be on 3 items is maybe Mobility, and Ryan was already there, right? You have 2 minutes to actually farm up the rest, and Mobility, unlikely to get there, but because Unforgiven is already on the Zeal, he's definitely going to have the PD or the Rooting Turret gain.
Ryoma on the reset, he did just take away Pretty's ultimate. What do you think
Mobility's already there. Nice.
What do you think is going to be the most impactful ultimate for Ryoma to take? I mean, obviously, the Maokai ultimate seems like the obvious choice onto this regard.
Yeah. I mean, the really interesting one is always the Weaver's Wall, right? If you can pick that up and actually split the fight, even though you don't have an AP ratio on it, it doesn't do any damage, you get so much more control over the battlefield with it than you would with anything else. And so, you know, I'm expecting it's going to be about the Maokai ultimate, just because you get a ton of damage. You use a first strike off of it, and you just hit like a brick, right? Yeah. Even though Maokai doesn't have the greatest AP ratios, you just have so much AP.
Just with how Evil Geniuses are playing this, I'm almost expecting it to be a Weaver's Wall to change things for the pace of this game.
Yeah.
As you were saying, all that control you have of the map established. Well, you know what? Let's take that point and just throw it in the bin now, because Weaver's Wall's now officially used up.
Officially used, and 100 Thieves are still just kind of farming it out. Very happy to just let this game go longer, as we are getting close to a couple of very big item breakpoints coming out, right? Sniper on the Cyrilda's Grudge will be tearing through some of these tankier members. Pretty almost has the Banshee's Veil available, so they can just kind of ignore a lot of the damage, a lot of the engages coming out from Shaden and Soul. And under Thieves, they're here a little bit early, but look at this flank coming out from Smoothie.
Yeah, deep flank. Yukino trying to spot out where Smoothie is. Smoothie's gotten away from the Scry on top of it over in the Try. We'll start to channel that recall, but cancels it now. Smoothie's on a very deep flank. He's getting spotted out now. There was a ping over on Smoothie, and you can tell that 100 Thieves have noticed. They're engaging as fast as they can. Smoothie trying to slide on by. Will use the stopwatch. Shaden's got to get in quick, but it's far too late. Smoothie falls.
Okay, and now 100 Thieves. They're trying to turn. Unforgiven in the front.
Unforgiven. Chipping away at that damage. Here comes Pretty riding the Weaver's wall to the front lines of the battlefield. Evil Geniuses get their retreat, but Unforgiven, he smells action, wants to challenge in a 1v4, and the Geniuses will back off.
Yeah, Evil Geniuses, they're trying to threaten that they're actually doing the Baron, but they're not hitting. There's no reason for 100 Thieves to actually come over and check. They find one.
Oh, here we go. Onto Pretty. 4 members of the Geniuses around, but 100 Thieves are responding quite quick. Seismic Shove goes out, and Pretty gives his life the exact way the Thieves needed him to. But is it going to be enough? Because Mobility is wailing away with the feathers as they'll fly into the faces of the Thieves. Oh my goodness, an ace found by the Evil Geniuses.
No man left behind means everyone's going to be in the dirt. Evil Geniuses find Pretty and everybody comes in trying to save them. Now it's going to be their base opening up, and it could be even more than that. 20 seconds. This could be the end of the game after nothing happened.
Are you kidding? One fight in the mid lane. The pace was so slow, but perfect positioning coming out. Substitute over for Winthrop, gets pulled out to Evil Geniuses and clutches out that team fight along the rest of his squad. Evil Geniuses in a fight. It was a slugfest with 100 Thieves, but they will take it in to a tie.
Yeah, so much respect coming through between these two teams, and it ends up just being a draw at the end of it. Both teams picking up a single win, but wow, like that game, it felt very push and pull the entire time until all of a sudden a single mistake ends the game. Pretty gets caught and everyone's like, we got to save him. We got to take this. But Ryoma finally gets his time off. There's no ultimate coming out from Unforgiven Zeri. There's no real damage to follow it up because Pretty was half of it all at once. And so, I mean, when you lose that, Evil Genius is able to just snowball it through, and you can show that you can get Ryoma off the ground and actually win that way.
I mean, there was hope there. Pretty did everything he could to be effective, even with that last slither of health. There was a really good seismic shove, but Unforgiven alone was not enough to bring the damage when they're just chasing through your front line and doing the things that we saw for Mobility over in that last fight. It's kind of a flip from what we had from Unforgiven in that game number 1. Mobility going to feel real good about that, but that is going to do it for the series. As for now, we're going to take a moment to throw it over to short break. When we return, we'll have Rafa with an interview with our winners over in Evil Geniuses.
Hola, bienvenidos. Welcome back, gamers. We have concluded all games of the day with Evil Genius Challengers striking back at 100 Thieves Challengers in the last one of the series, tying it up. And we are here with Mobility, the sub-marksman for Evil Geniuses, stepping in while King is still waiting on the visa struggles over there. But for us, Mobility, you have been coming in and you've been doing your damnedest to just make sure that Evil Geniuses Challengers can, you know, speed through along this Challengers League. Take us through those last few moments in that game you just won. You ended a perfect KDA, no deaths so far. You even got a little bit of flashing. Just talk me through what was going through your mind.
Yeah, in that, I was even shaking a little bit after the game. Because I knew, I was calling inside the comms that we 100% win this fight. In my head, that I was going to win us this fight if we just played around me in that fight.
Yeah.
After Soul got a really good Malphite ult on Talia. So in my head, I was just like, as long as I don't mess up anything, then we 100% win this fight.
Then just instincts took over, I am assuming, afterwards, where you're thinking about which threats you need to be careful for, and then just waiting until the last moment before you knew there was nothing else that could punish you. Love the flash in to commit the kill as well. So, we have now conducted 5 weeks of Challengers League gameplay. This is a short week, so there's only one more day of games tomorrow. But, you know, someone coming in as a sub, not intended to be the starter, but now you've played a majority of the Challengers League spring split here for Evil Geniuses. What does it mean for you as someone who is really making their name in the challenger scene, and what has been your focus? Are you trying to just get a name for yourself and look for these big flashy plays, or are you just trying to just learn from everything as you take in these games?
It's a mix of both. Obviously, want to show some flashy plays, show that I have it in me to be flashing forward and making plays. But mainly, I'm just trying to learn as much as possible and try to be the most stable player as possible.
Sure.
It's been a really good time having. I don't think I could be in a more perfect situation with experience, at least from like a support, like my support Smoothie. He has helped me so much. Like looking back to whenever I the first scrim to now, I couldn't even. I don't know. I can't even believe like how bad I was.
Yeah.
So it's been really nice having Smoothie, and like everybody on the team is like insanely helped. Tommy and Smoothie are like the biggest helps. They're really experienced. So after every single scrim game, after every single game, me and Smoothie are just going over the VOD, going over any VODs of LCK, LPL, just constantly talking. He's constantly just being around me, helping me out, and being a really good mentor.
Nice. Well, that's awesome to hear. It just goes to show that, you know, you got great teammates ready to support and guide you and give that wisdom imparting forward to make sure that you are able to improve your gameplay as much as possible. And I can't imagine what your reaction was like when, you know, you were obviously pulled in for what probably many assumed was just going to be the first couple of weeks once visa issues were resolved, but now that it's been, you know, delayed, and you are expected now to play a majority of the split at this point. How did what was that like once you got those news?
I was really excited. I was really excited to come out here, fly out here, and be in the full, get to experience the full experience of being an academy player. Waking up every day and coming here and playing for 6, 7, 8 hours of scrims, going over VOD reviews, sitting here, and then after that playing solo queue, and then just going home and going to bed, and then repeat. So it's like one of the first times where I can fully just focus on being the best I can be and putting everything into League. So yeah, it's just been really fun.
There you go. And I can't imagine what the difference is like, or the contrast between living here in California at the EG compound versus when you were playing over at Winthrop, over in the collegiate scene. I know just before we got to the interview stage, you're talking about like living in a dorm versus, you know, where you're living now. Like, what's that difference like?
I'm not the biggest fan of living in a dorm. Before I went to Winthrop, I had my own apartment. So I went from my own apartment to a dorm, which is just like a small room and a window and a desk.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm just not the biggest fan of that. Public bathroom, public shower, not my thing.
Yeah.
So it's been very nice to be out here in my own apartment, be in my own bed, have my own laundry machine, have my own bathroom, have my own shower, have everything.
There you go.
It's 10 times better.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a taste of what it's like to play in the professional scene. You know, even the challengers level, you're at least getting a glimpse of what it's like to be, you know, working and playing under the ecosystem of one of the top, the 10 franchise orgs here in Challengers League. A last couple of questions I have for you, Mobility, is even though you've flown out here and, you know, starting to get well known within, you know, EG and then the rest of the Challengers League, is there anyone back at home that you miss, or do you miss talking to on the daily?
Like at Winthrop?
Yeah.
Yeah, all my teammates. I actually still go into the calls. I'm still in like our group chats. I still talk in there. I talk to all of them. They're like brothers. They're like family. So I still talk to them on a daily basis and still keep connected with them.
And there you go. And I'm glad that they still are keeping in touch with y'all and just, you know, doing the best they can to cheer you on and make do without you at the moment. As I understand it, Winthrop are playing in the OQs at the moment. I don't know what the status of their score line is at the moment, but I know that is kind of like what their goal is.
Yeah, I know they're playing. I actually don't know their status either. I haven't been keeping up with that. But I'm pretty sure they qualified. I think they win 3-2.
Oh, massive dub for
that's good.
Throppers. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Well, Mobility, before I let you go, is there any other shout-outs that you would like to give us today or anything else that you would love to say to the fans on your first interview?
Thanks for having me on the interview. Shout out to all my teammates here on EG, all the staff, all the managers, everybody making sure, keeping us good so we can do this. Shout out my family back at home. Winthrop guys, shout out my girlfriend. And yeah, shout out to all the fans. Thanks for cheering us on.
Hell yeah. Again, Mobility, thanks so much for taking the time to join us here. Congrats on the dub as well. And, you know, keep grinding, keep improving, man. Love to see the growth from you. And we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much. And with that, we're going to jump right on back to the caster desk. No breaks, because it is the end of the day here. Week 5, day 1, wrapped up in the books. So that means, Desrux, is that Caesar? Is that
Eddie Caesar right here.
Oh,
How you doing, Caesar?
He's a cutie. Look at those
Been
eyes.
watching the games all day, enjoying some League of Legends. His favorite
my.
team is Wildcard, by the way. He is a Moose Hater fan as well.
He looks like he'd be a Moose Hater fan.
This is chaotic as Moose Hater sometimes, especially when he gets to zoomies and just darts from one side of the room to the other. Thank goodness he doesn't do that during broadcast.
He wants to. He wants to.
Oh, just the thing that always gives me anxiety is if a pet is like zooming around and then you've got cables all everywhere and they get into it there and they start scratching.
Or when they're young and they're teething and you're just afraid of them like biting power cables or anything.
Yeah.
I feel that.
There you go.
Yeah. Is that why you don't want to get a cat, Josh?
Among other reasons.
All right. Well, to wrap up the day, we're going to check in with our standings as we are now done with the first day of week 5. Dignitas Challengers still lead the charge at 17-3, but Wildcard right on their heels as Cloud9 Challengers, I believe they got a 2-0 sweep over their opponents over on the path to LCS stream. And I think for the rest of the competition here, obviously 100 Thieves being able to split games doesn't necessarily put them tied with Wildcard, so it's at 4th place. Are there any surprises from you two at this point? Anyone just kind of surging on ahead, or is this kind of where you expected these teams to be halfway through the season?
No surprises, at least anymore. If you asked me anytime earlier,
Sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of them, but I just got one final take, and that's going to be I think Cloud9 Challengers are going to be the first place team. I'd be down to put a bet on that, Josh. Josh, do you have confidence in Dignitas?
Bet.
And Dignitas for what? Like being the number 1 at the end?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Let's define that. At the end of the regular season or at the end of playoffs?
End of regular season.
Okay.
Who's going to be on top? Want to bet facial hair?
Facial hair?
Yep.
What is this, a
Alright, okay,
Kangas
who
bet?
are you betting on? Are you betting Wildcard?
I'm betting C9 is going to be first place. Regular
C9.
season.
Whew. I'll take that, yeah. I think Dignitas are favored to win almost all the rest of their games.
There you go. You got to
All right.
bet live on air, baby.
Everyone
go.
clip it. Everyone ship it. Everyone retweet it. Dignitas for Josh. Cloud9 for Desirux. If either of these two teams end up another 1, the other has to shave their facial hair.
Sounds
Honestly,
good. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
I
We'll do
mean-
it live on broadcast for you.
yes. We
Oh,
can,
no.
oh, yeah! That's exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the funny thing for me is that I remember when Josh didn't rock the Doctor Strange goatee that he's going on right now. Is
Co-caster back.
like age 10 years younger. Desrux, I've never seen you without facial hair. So
Ooh, it's been a long time. I've seen it like once or twice.
I have.
We're never going to see it again because Cloud9 are going to do me well. Don't worry.
I'm excited.
I love the double down. I love the
All right,
double
now
down.
the question is, if somehow like Wildcard get first, do we both have to shave or do neither of us have to shave?
We
Yeah,
both
you
have to
both
shape
ha-
our heads.
What is that?
No. No. No.
You know what? If Wildcard gets first, I think I see Twitch chat. Cubby's in there. He said he will shave. Let's bring him into this. Let's
Cubby
start bringing
will
everyone
shave?
in. Yeah.
Hold up.
Oh no.
That's cap. There ain't no way.
There's like
Cubby's
nothing
gonna
to
agree
shave.
that.
Come on.
Yeah. Cubby ain't gonna agree to that. Well, you know what? Let's just settle on. It doesn't matter if the other person's team doesn't get there. It's just like if it's Dignitas, Deserex has to shave. If it's C9, Joshi has to shave. It doesn't matter if either team. So
I'll fight you, Eric. You
I
come
mean-
over and shave your beard off. Are you ready for that?
Oh my god. All right. Well,
Not.
production, I think we better start wrapping this one up before they actually fist fight. Thank you so much to all the fans been watching and cheering on the players here in the North American Challengers League. Oh my god. Cubby also said, I will also shave for wildcard. Well, it's official, y'all. Clip it, frame it, screenshot it. Make sure
That's
that
her out,
everyone's
man.
retweeting it so that we hold him accountable. We cannot let this man get away with saying something like this and then, you know, let's close out the show. Thanks again. Shout outs on all behalf of the production staff and crew, our lovely casting team, all the players, of course, and all the fans for tuning in. Make sure you're all keeping safe and healthy at these times, and we'll see you tomorrow.